Hello, hello, hello. Gary Glass here. Wishing everybody well out there in social media land. Hope everything's going well for you. Hey, we're continuing to read The Science of Personal Achievement. We've really just gotten started, and we're going to read the introduction today, which is all about burning desire. And in the context of my real estate endeavors, I can remember when I was growing up, my parents owned four unit buildings over on Buena Vista Street in Burbank, and I can remember not having much of a burning desire, having to mow those lawns most Saturdays for a long time, and but it dropped a seed in my mind for me later on in order to get involved with real estate, and it just made it changed my life. That decision, that committed decision to getting into real estate and having something to do with it, and then I got to do what I wanted to do anyway. I was able to go and have my own career with in engineering with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and that was fabulous too. And it was great, and to be able to have the real estate on the side that I did, it was just so much fun. And today we're going to be talking about burning desire, which is something that I had towards moving forward with those sorts of investments, and it was just great. Anyway, let's hop in, and we're going to get to. I don't know if we'll get to it. There's a great well, we're going to talk about Napoleon Hill and his early days, and then maybe we'll get through to this great story. It is just so good with General Ayres, a man that one of the first employers that Napoleon Hill had, and so we'll get to that. So here we go. Here's the introduction titled "Burning Desire." The greatest achievements were at first nothing but dreams in the minds of people who knew that dreams are the seedlings of all achievements. A burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from where the dreamer must take off. Do you have a dream for your real estate business or for your business in general? Do you have a dream for your employer's business? Do you have a dream for yourself as some key component in your employer's business? Such an important thing to consider for your own success. So important. More than 20 years were spent interviewing America's best known and most successful people, including W. Clement Stone, who in the early 1960s was one of the United States' richest men via an insurance business. Kind of like how Warren Buffett has become so wealthy, starting with the insurance business and Geico and is now Geico and all that. Continuing, Alexander Graham Bell, of course, the phone, William Howard Taft, former president of the United States, John Wanamaker, owner of big stores, the Philadelphia Merchant King, Woodrow Wilson, former president of the United States, Harvey Firestone from Firestone Tires, Dr. Frank Crane. Dr. Crane, up until a few years ago, had more patents than anybody in the United States. W.F. Woolworth, you might remember the old Woolworth chain of stores, and Teddy Roosevelt, former president of the United States. In The Science of Personal Achievement, you will receive the means to kindle the fire of burning desire in your life. The 17 universal principles of success explained in this book are a composite of the techniques used by the world's greatest people. They learned these methods through trial and error. Here, you can learn them from someone who researched and organized them at the direction of steel magnate Andrew Carnegie, who was, of course, at the beginning of probably in the years 1900, maybe the 1910 was the wealthiest, one of the wealthiest men in the world, and even today, the Carnegie Foundation still continues to give tons and tons of money to worthwhile organizations to help kids and to help people. And there's even jokes that are still around for how do you get to Carnegie Hall, which is a place where there's all kinds of shows and like Broadway shows and so forth. And the answer, of course, being practice, practice, practice. So if you've got a script of some sort that you're working with, whether it's in real estate or otherwise, practice your script, practice your trade, Practice, practice, practice so that you can be the absolute best at whatever it is that you do. That's straight out of Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay on compensation. You need to be the best at what you're doing, whether it's your own business or whether it's for your job. Anyway, continuing, the 17 principles are listed in a specific order. The beauty of this is that after you have read the entire book, you can then pick and choose the principles on which to focus depending on your current needs. And now a little bit of a story of Napoleon Hill. I was born in the mountains of Virginia, famous for three things: rattlesnakes, Mountain Dew, and revenue officers. And when he says Mountain Dew, he's not talking about the soft drink, he's talking about moonshine liquor. I never had a pair of shoes until I was 10 years old. I never saw a railroad train until I was 12. Later on, I discovered why my father named me Napoleon. I have a great uncle, or did have before he died, in Memphis, Tennessee, by the name of Napoleon Hill. He was a multimillionaire cotton broker. I think if I stopped right there, you'd know why my father named me Napoleon. We expected that he would leave some of his money to me on account of my having his name. But when the will was read when I was at the age of 14, he had left out the entire branch of hills from whence I came. And I think that was the greatest favor that anybody ever did me, because I know what happened to the ones who did get the money. Would you mind asking what? And so in italics, he's asking for us. What? Nothing. So I, having had no inheritance, had to go to work, and I learned to make my own money. It's really, or I find it amusing. In Napoleon Hill's most famous book, Think and Grow Rich, in it there's a section that's so well aligned with this, and all he says is, "There's no free lunch. There is no free lunch. Somehow you're going to be paying for it." The next best thing that ever happened to me was when I was assigned by Andrew Carnegie to devote 20 years to the building of this philosophy, being the philosophy of success. One of his conditions was that I should earn my own way as I went along without any subsidy from him or anybody else. I want to tell you right now, I thought that was a disaster, but that was another blessing that came into my life, having to earn my own way. So often that people that don't earn their own way, they end up, well, what are some of the negatives associated with that? They end up not having the self-confidence or the self-esteem to be able to move on and to do whatever it is that they could do in their lives. They just don't have the gumption to keep going. Let's see. Uh, Hill's saying that another blessing came into his life, having to earn my own way, and I soon learned how to do it. And long before Mr. Carnegie died, I didn't need him anymore, financially or otherwise. I could make my own way. Carnegie was very smart in throwing me out on my own like that. He wanted me to learn to apply this philosophy as I went along to make it work for myself. And that's exactly what you need to do. You need to get out there and make it work for yourself. And he said, a success philosopher living in a huddle without any money and his shoes not shined and needing a shave is no good example of selling success. If you want to be successful in helping other people to succeed, demonstrate that you can make your own philosophy work. And I think I have done that quite adequately and at all levels. Well, let me tell you the story of how I came to meet Mr. Carnegie. And think back of that a success philosopher living in a huddle without any money and his shoes not shine and needing a shave is no good example of selling success. If you're out there selling success, you better not be giving away your wares for free. And if you're doing that for family or friends, stop it. What do they want? Do they want you living under a bridge? This is Andrew Carnegie, the richest man in the world, saying, If you're living in a huddle, if you're living under a bridge in a tent, or maybe you're living in a camper or something underneath a bridge, and your shoes aren't shined, and you need a shave, and you haven't bathed in who knows how long, is that a good example of success? No, not at all. If you want to be successful in helping other people to succeed, demonstrate that you can make your own philosophy work. Realtors, demonstrate by your own example that you can be outstanding real estate investors. So, anyway, we continue. Let me tell you the story of how I came to meet Andrew Carnegie. First of all, when I was in my early teens, I wanted to go away to college, but didn't have any money. So I made arrangements with the Tazewell Business College to work my way through and took a secretarial course. When I finished, I looked around and had an inspiration. I'd call it an intuition or a gut feeling that has been far reaching and has affected millions of people and will affect millions more people, some of them not yet born. I did something that has never been done before nor afterward, as far as I know, in the way of ensuring that I would go to work for the man that I chose. I recognized that if I picked out a very successful, a very prosperous, a very wealthy man and could work for him in close contact as a secretary, that I would appropriate all of his friends and much of his knowledge, and it would be worth a stupendous amount to me. You know what? We're past 10 minutes already, and I don't want these to go too long so that people actually listen to them. And so I'm going to stop right there, and we'll pick up tomorrow morning right here with the with who Napoleon Hill picked as his mentor for success. And so with that, we'll bid today adieu. God bless everybody. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. God bless us, everyone. Bye bye now.